So crazy news, there is another RTS game being designed with competitive play in mind. Now, I had heard some rumors that this game was under development. I had no idea that they are as far along as they are. We're going to look at the trailer. By the way, guys, assuming the game is as good as it looks, I'll probably be casting this or doing content around it or streaming it. So if this kind of content interests you, do please subscribe to the channel and check out my Twitch page. So the game is Zero Space. That's its name. And it's got some major community figures back in it. Before I play the trailer, Katz is involved, Grant, Scarlet, Pig here as well. These are all huge figures in the scene. So this is big. This is a crazy, crazy moment that I was like, honestly, I had no idea that there was going to be. Look at this. They've already raised $300,000. This is crazy. Let's take a look at the trailer now. By the way, one thing I'm just going to pause this and say immediately, I love the fact that there is like explosions, things are getting killed, things are blowing up. Seem to have a Jim Raynor type character in the game, by the way. Looks like we've got something like a Protoss. It looks very Starcraft-esque. Kind of reminds me of the battlecruiser. I don't know if you're going to be playing from something like a battlecruiser, but this is going to have single player campaign.
Hi. We're Starland Studios, an indie game developer working on a cinematic, next-gen RTS, Zero Space. Zero Space is an ambitious and exciting RTS with an epic sci-fi story where your decisions determine the fate of the galaxy. We grew up having our minds blown by RTSs like Starcraft, as well as epic RPGs like Mass Effect. That inspiration brought us all to the...
Interesting to hear the Mass Effect edition. I think there's a lot that can be done with the campaign RTS games. I personally am not a big RTS campaign guy. I always feel like if I play RTS campaigns, it's like Valium or something. Like it sedates me. It makes me sleepy. But I have been told by everybody that's ever made an RTS that if you're going to have a successful one, you have to have a campaign, because most people will play the campaign first and then consider multiplayer.
Game industry, where we've been lucky enough to build careers as devs, pro players, and creators, but we haven't yet had the chance to make our dream game.
Looks like Reapers.
That's why we're coming to Kickstarter. We spent the last 3 years building Zero Space ourselves, and we're finally ready to share what we've got and ask you to help us realize the dream. We have an indie spirit, but we're a very technically capable team of over 30 devs with serious game dev experience and a passion for RTS and RPG gameplay. We've been working hand in hand with some of the most insightful and well-regarded leaders in the RTS community, several of whom have joined our development team. Here's Grant, our lead campaign designer, to share a little more about what we're building.
Zero Space is an evolved real-time strategy game injected with the epic sci-fi storytelling of classic RPGs like Mass Effect.
This is Grant's voice, by the way.
It's the year 4057, and you're leader of the Human Protectorate, tasked with unraveling a cosmic mystery that threatens the galaxy. Interactive cinematics will confront you with tough choices that will influence the story through branching narratives. As you investigate the mystery, you'll explore the Orion Belt, recruiting powerful allies to join your crew and embarking on dozens of side missions to discover each hero's rich backstory and unlock their full potential in battle. As an RTS, one of our design goals is to...
You get a lot of Terran vs. Zerg vibes with this, by the way. I see some people in the chat saying like it kind of looks like a copy of StarCraft. I think that's the idea. I think it's supposed to... They're trying to be like the spiritual successor to StarCraft.
offer players unprecedented choice and strategic depth. Each match, you'll choose a main faction, a mercenary faction which grants additional unique units, and a hero which brings their own powerful skills to the table. That means in every battle, you'll be assembling your own unique faction, making for significantly more variety, personal expression, and strategic depth than other games in the genre. The depth and variety extends to the moment-to-moment gameplay.
The micro looks good.
So we're working hard to fine-tune pathfinding, introduce mechanics like body blocking projectiles, terrain vision blocking, and more, resulting in increasingly dynamic combat and less binary outcomes. Our vision for Zero Space extends beyond the story-driven campaign and evolved RTS gameplay. In addition to 1 vs 1 and 3 vs 3 PvP, we're working on a truly cooperative multiplayer mode where players...
It's too quiet now. Sorry, guys.
join together to fight against an enemy AI.
I mean, the fights
and
do
our
look
long-term
pretty
vision
good.
for Zero Space is a persistent, shared galaxy with a massively multiplayer endgame. I'm really excited to be part of this project because Zero Space offers unparalleled player agency and customization, and I'm not the only one. Other well-known players from the RTS community are on the dev team, and here's why they're hyped to be here.
Hi guys, it's Pig here,
It's Piggy.
Starcraft 2 resident ex-pro gamer, expert, commentator, YouTuber and Twitch streamer. I've been working on Zero Space now for a couple of years, just coming in doing some consulting and playtesting. In the early days, there was not much there. It was, the early days of games dev. Things don't work, assets are broken, but I've seen it develop so quickly where the technology's gotten better, the pathing, the responsivity of the units is so much smoother.
One of the things that's interesting about this is that excuse me. It almost looks like it's done. I'm sure there's more they can add in here, but it looks like it's a game that you could ship. Right now, they seem to be very far along in it.
Very crisp these days. But also I've seen, the team expand. And from getting a lot of early feedback from myself, there's now guys like Giant Grant Games, you've got Scarlet, you've got Cats, like pro gamers from all sorts of RTS backgrounds come in and giving their feedback. And it's been leading to, especially the multiplayer aspect, being very responsive. The unit interactions and the way units behave feels very satisfying, interesting, and skill-based. But you've also got the balance already starting to get very fine-tuned, even though the game is pre-alpha.
Hey, this is Scarlett, lead balance design at Zero Space.
One of the good things about having Scarlett on here, she's really smart when it comes to RTS games. I would put her at the top of intelligence when it comes to start talking about the game and understanding the game. So this is a really good choice by them to get her for balance. And she learned Brood War quick. I see that in the chat. Yes. She learned Brood War very quickly and got right up to S. I think 2,300 MMR, something like that. But she's very gifted.
I joined the project not that long ago. The first time I got to play the game, it had already been in development for a couple of years. And I was really surprised at how good the game felt. It's not easy to do RTS, but after joining the team, I got to realize that it's because everyone is really passionate about RTS. I've been playing RTS for a long time and just want to make the best game possible. So I'm really happy to be a part of that. And I hope you all enjoy the game as much as I do already.
Hey guys, this is Katz, and I am the lead versus designer at Zero Space. For the last 2 years, I've been working on this project, and it has really truly felt amazing. I feel like my skill sets here are valuable. I feel like I have a team. I'm surrounded by a team of creatives that are not afraid to take what you might call risks, in the sense that we are not afraid to experiment with new concepts, with importing concepts from different game genres even, and seeing how we can adapt them to solve for the very unique problems that RTS design proposes. And that process has just been extremely rewarding because everyone's always wanting to iterate on each other's ideas and not just their own. Everyone is incredibly receptive. The egos, I guess you could say, are left at the door when we go into our discussions about design, because it's really for all of us about the overarching vision. It's really for all of us about producing the best possible game that we can. It's really for us about not being afraid and not just, you know, doing a copy paste of previous.
So the only
games,
2
but
races.
rather
I think there's
making a
3.
product
I
that
actually
is
don't know
truly
for sure how many
unique
races there
and
are in this.
special and has an incredible potential to reach wider audiences.
They said
and
4.
to
You
also
saw 5?
welcome the existing hardcore fan base.
From everyone here at Starland Studios, I want to thank you so much for considering backing Zero Space. Your support will help us finish what we've started, adding polish, phenomenal voice acting, and more, helping us realize our vision for a truly next-gen RTS that's worthy of hardcore fans.
Okay, so, I mean, by the way, again, 300K raised here, nearly. I mean, that's huge. Look, man, I mean, this is really exciting. I think one thing they've done really well is just show combat in this. I mean, they're definitely showing that the game can take big fights at a very high scale. This is good. I mean, this is going to be some serious competition for Stormgate, which I think is healthy. One of the issues that RTS has is there were never, like, a lot of them, except when RTS first got big. Like, in between Warcraft 2, Starcraft, and then Warcraft 3, that was, like, the period of RTS where Blizzard was making enough RTS games and other companies felt confident that they could also make RTS games and sell them. And once Blizzard started to slowly turn their back on RTS, it did seem like it just, because all these game companies, they tend to kind of copy and try to emulate each other. You know, we don't have a lot of competition, but I think if you have a couple good RTSs coming out, it's going to be really healthy because we can kind of figure out what we like about them and how we can continue to improve them. It does appear to have heroes in this. I'm not pro-hero or anti-hero. I will tell you that, I mean, I know you guys never think of me as somebody who was, you know, got a background in Warcraft 3. I did play and compete in Warcraft 3 for like a year and pretty quickly went back to Starcraft. But I think Warcraft 3 had a very different pacing that I wasn't crazy for. I have seen some videos where people talk about the fact that there are people that have played the game, that there are heroes, but like they're not as... The game is not as hinged on them as they are in Warcraft 3. I mean, if you look at Warcraft 3, you're basically using the heroes to level them up and then to get items, and the items are what you are going to use to win the game and develop your strategy around what items you have and what items they have. It doesn't seem like there's items in this, unless I'm mistaken.
The next evolution in real-time strategy, where the very cosmos is your chessboard and strategy is your greatest weapon. We have created a rich universe housing...
Someone says it looks like the skill trees might be only single player. I think you're probably right, but I can't quite tell. I would like to get my hands on this game, by the way, and really mess around with it.
10 different factions and
4 different factions, 6 mercenary factions. I don't know what that means, and 14 heroes. Okay.
Each offering unique avenues for gameplay and a voluminous, expanding lore. These serve as a base for our 3 core gameplay modes: campaign, co-op, and player versus player. We were inspired by some of our favorite games and then combined our own ideas with them to bring you a unique experience of the highest quality. Zero Space's campaign features RPG story elements, branching narratives, and deep character.
I do feel like there's a lot that can be done for the campaign story mode. I thought actually with StarCraft 2 they did a pretty good job of like going from just you having like the briefings in StarCraft 1 to then in StarCraft 2 you were like inside of a ship or a base, and they did I think where they probably got the influence from was from Wing Commander in between. And that's another game that type of game they don't make a lot of anymore is flight simulators. But yeah, I mean, if they're going to have this kind of Mass Effect impact, I guess it would be like you make certain decisions in the game and outside the game, and then that would kind of ripple through what happened later on.
Inspired by one of our favorite series, Mass Effect. It all begins when you take...
By the way, that seems to be the only other game they're referencing. They're talking about StarCraft, but they are mentioning Mass Effect in here. Again, I'm not crazy for RTS campaigns, but that is interesting.
The role of Prefect Nova and the Protectorate faction. Adapt and learn how to best lead your own mixed species crew and recruit mercenaries on a...
This looks like a Kerrigan. Maybe it's not, but I'm getting some Kerrigan vibes here.
Journey to the vast unknowns. Explore and battle through the Orion arm of the Milky Way while gaining and retaining your crew's trust. You'll need it to prevent the downfall of the galaxy, or to conquer it for yourself. Zero Space also offers a cooperative mode.
This is something I think Stormgate could take note from. I think a lot of people want to see shit getting blown up and get like a real feel for...
Where players join together to fight against an enemy AI in campaign-like
the fact
missions.
that we can see...
Inspired by the success and replayability
how
found in
quick
StarCraft
things
2
die and
co-op,
don't
our
die.
system...
Like it looks like the little bug guys. If those are bugs, I'm not sure. die about as quick as Zerglings, and these seem to die about as
aimed at
fast as
supporting up to
Ultras.
3 players, with special missions and events supporting even more. On top of that, we integrate co-op into our expanding
Well, that's an interesting point in chat. I guess because they wanted to make a Mass Effect RTS, but didn't get the rights. That's an interesting take. I guess from a game development point, if you were going to make an RTS, if you could ever actually get the rights of an already pretty famous title, it would probably sell more. I don't know. I wonder if that's true or not. That's
universe,
interesting.
with the addition of an easy-to-engage with persistent galactic map, aimed at rewarding progression, supporting guild play, and even...
You said someone says it looks quite good, but just that they having a Kickstarter gives you a sour taste. Anyone who can point to successful Kickstarters where there actually is a game in reasonable time and not throwing money into a black hole. Well, I think the Kickstarter is good advertising, and it's a good way to you know, get people to get on board and support it. I mean, it's hard to get games are hard to make. I mean, I don't really know that much about Kickstarters and the games that come out, and I'm sure there are ones that come out that aren't that good, but I mean, a big issue with making a game like this is that it takes years to do it, and you need money to do that. This is a good way to do it. This is kind of like the era we're living in. I mean, we have like an ASL Patreon, right? Because people want to support Artosis and me, even if a freaking TV didn't want to pay for an English cast, we can do it. But I'm very for things like this. And the game looks good, right?
even allowing for players to create their own missions.
I mean, they're pretty far along. They said they were 3 years into this, right?
Don't want to just emulate previous co-op experiences, but to expand on them and
Blasphemous. Yeah, that was a Kickstarter game, wasn't it? That was a good game.
improve
Castlevania
them with an AI that feels more alive, added opportunities for players to collaborate, an increase in mission variety, and a rewarding and consolidated progression system that helps foster and promote community. Our design
Gotta say, I'm not crazy for the sounds, but that can always be improved.
philosophy begins at the goal of being accessible to players of all skill levels. Anyone can pick up and play the game. But when it comes to the highest level of competition and skill expression, our ceiling...
This is a really... Look at how the tank... I don't know what these are. I'm calling them Zerglings, but look at how the tank is... I mean, this is a very subtle thing, but look at how the tank is moving around the
stuff. But when
stuff.
it comes to the highest level of competition and skill expression, our ceiling will be
really
rather high.
surround
We've devised
stuff.
and implemented game systems that help to foster fun and dynamic gameplay, allowing for a wide variety of choices, all factoring into our goal to create a wild yet still competitive arena. Every
the control looks pretty slick. Excuse me. They've got a lot of examples of in-game stuff here.
competitive game begins with a short draft phase, where first players select one of 4 main factions, and then drafts one of the 6 supplementary mercenary factions.
So you pick a race, and then you pick units that you get to play with the race ahead of time? Like you draft them? Is that correct?
And finally, one of 14 plus heroes. With these tools available, you aren't playing a pre-made faction.
So if it's a draft phase, does that mean I can veto their units? If Artosis plays this game, will he veto Dark Templars every time?
In fact, our active balance philosophy relies strongly on these and other systems
that's exciting. Shit getting blown up.
That we're eager to share with you throughout this Kickstarter phase. But talk is cheap. That's why we took 3 years to develop a product that we're proud to finally be able to share with you. We are the first to admit that this is an ambitious project. We're not looking to rehash previous strategy games.
Can I say one thing, one critique just of the game as I look at it? I feel like the colors are too pastel. Again, all that can be changed, but it does seem like there's a little bit too like light, kind of warm colors. But see this red and this blue and then this beige ground here, or even this blue and the green. Like there's like a certain, it's really well colored. Like it feels good to look at.
The game starts with an operating tower, which automatically builds extractors to an operating tower, which automatically builds extractors to mine Hexite, our base resource. You can expand your income by building additional operating towers throughout the map. These little guys spawning next to the operating towers are builders. They're named seedlings and are unique to the girl faction. Over to the left here, you'll find your mercenary tavern, where you can instantly hire 5 unique unit groups to join you in the fight. Huge tree over here is the Grell headquarters. It offers passive income equivalent to a full base mining and allows for the construction of harvesters, which are needed to gather our second resource, Flux.
So I guess the first resource, you don't have workers to gather? Does it auto-build something on top of it?
Flux is scattered across the map, creating incentives for players to venture out and meaningfully interact by harassing enemy harvesters and protecting their own. These purple circles signify a rich flux drop. Its landing location is semi-random, allowing players to adapt and strategize accordingly. I'd love to make some army units now, but I can't afford my incubator yet, and that's okay. The game has recognized my wish and will add it to the queue. Our friendly queue system helps to simplify economic management so that players can spend more time interacting with each other and making meaningful decisions. My first building is complete. Supply structures in Zero Space are all unique and have a purpose beyond just sitting there. Like Warcraft 3 Moonwells, nourishing pods heal units near it, helping to provide defensive advantages. Now
Okay, so they took the Night Elf mechanic, the Moonwells.
And they have 3 abilities.
Cool.
With one of them, you can trade HP on an allied unit to heal and increase the hero's attack speed. Anticipating I'll be taking damage soon, I'm bringing a seedling along to consume. We're heading towards an XP tower guarded by neutral creeps. In this fight, another one
so there's neutral creeps.
of my abilities is sure to prove useful. This one is a projectile that, on hit, damages and slows units within its visible radius. Once I'm done clearing the neutral creeps, the XP tower will be available for me to capture. Your experience is
Chad says, I feel like they need more visual clarity, discernibility. Some fights, I felt like it was hard to see what's happening. Well, it looks like what we're looking at is like a very, it's a game, but they haven't like, how do I say this? I mean, they haven't finished the artistic parts of it. I think in a lot of games, that's actually one of the things that comes last. So, I mean, anything that doesn't look great, that's, definitely something that can just be
presented
fixed.
by the rising yellow bar at the top, and much like in life, you get XP by just existing. But capturing towers does help you speed up the process. When the bar fills up, you get to level up, and I'll be expanding on that soon. After using Consume to heal up,
Okay, so I was wrong. You do level up.
Finish capturing this XP tower, and then use my third ability to bring my hero back home. My basic incubators are now done building. They are home to
Town
3
portal,
different units and unlock tier 2 and upgrade buildings. The top bar consists of 2 joint systems. Power, represented by the blue bar on top, is used to activate global abilities. My favorite base ability is named Infuse. With it, you can trade power to target allied units, and after a short delay they emerge from their cocoons with double the HP and damage values, and also growing in size to match their newfound strength. You harness power whenever you lose units in combat, and while winning skirmishes feels great, the game doesn't have to end as a result of a single outcome. Alongside mercenaries and supply structures, power is perhaps our best system at combating snowballing and leaving some room for well-earned comebacks. My first upgrade building is now finished. Since I made some stingers, I'll look to upgrade those first. On this menu, you can select one of 2 upgrades to start, and later another one from the second row. This time around, I'll research lifesteal, and once that's done, I might just go for cliff jumping. You may start noticing
someone in chat says everyone lost 50% interest the second we saw the neutral creeps. I'm one of the people that's wary about neutral creeps, but I'm not against them. I wasn't crazy for, I like Warcraft 3. I actually, a lot of people have known this. I used to cast Warcraft 3. That was my original job in Korea, was casting Korean matches that happened in Warcraft 3 when they tried to put that on TV out here. And I would cast that in English. So I'm familiar with the game. I like interacting with just people in a game, but I'm not against creeps. I'm trying to be as open-minded as possible.
a pattern here. We like to offer players the ability to express themselves and adapt through fun and meaningful choices. Speaking of which, my yellow XP bar just filled up, which brings me to our final system, talents. Each time you find enough experience to level up, you can choose from 3 talents, 2 of them natural to your main faction, and the third one determined by your choice of mercenaries. As you go down the talent tree,
so I guess
things
that
get
grass is
increasingly
kind
more
of like
volatile,
creep.
and at level 5, you get to select your ultimate ability. My favorite for Grell is the Tree of Life, but that's for another time. I hope you've enjoyed our ideas and systems so far. A million thanks, and see you around.
I will just say right out of the gate, I look at this and it's Kerrigan pre-becoming a Zerg, or Nova, or whatever the ghost character that, and then Jim Raynor. I hope that the story is good and original. I honestly didn't think the Starcraft story was that good. I think I like the StarCraft 1 well, StarCraft 1 story was okay, but I was also like in 7th grade. But StarCraft 2, the story got pretty bad during Heart of the Storm. I never actually finished Legacy of the Void, but it would be cool to have a story. And by the way, I'm okay with them like paying homage if they want to have like a Jim Raynor character. I just, I hope the story's actually good. But look, man, I mean, I'm excited.
At the core of all of our game modes and ideas lies a foundational structure that gives us the confidence to push forward and deliver our incredible technology. To expand on that, here's our founder and chief technology officer, Marv.
So I've always loved RTS. I felt like it was a genre that isn't more popular because it has been historically underserved. It's understandable why, as making a responsive RTS engine presents a lot of technical challenges.
Yeah, this is, by the way, he's correct. Most RTSs are not built in an engine that's actually, that lets you do what you need to be able to do in a high quality RTS. So, I mean, in that, like the fact that StarCraft 1 exists, and it's buggy, by the way. I mean, it's not perfect, okay, but it's the fact that that was made in like 1998, and the shit people can do at it is insane. Like, it's a testament to how Blizzard was able to create games. So that's good that they are aware of this.
Yet I couldn't really bring myself to see those challenges as deterring. To me, they were
it's
really
like a million Reapers.
Really exciting problems to solve. I can tinker with pathfinding and crowd simulation for weeks, and at the end of it, it's always so rewarding to see the resulting visual interactions. Through much iteration over the past 3 years, Zero Space has reached a point where we can be comfortable saying that Starcraft 2 will no longer be in a category of its own when it comes to their technology and engine. And while Starcraft 2 set the bar very high...
By the way, another little note, if this thing does have a map editor, I would guess it's going to have a map editor, right? Had Blizzard actually paid attention to what was going on in their own map editors, they could have probably made like 5 or 6 major decisions that would have completely altered the entire course of gaming and esports and everything. I mean, Dota 1 was built inside Warcraft 3 and Blizzard ignored that. I was playing turret defense games as like a kid with my brother long before like, games like Plants vs. Zombies were being made. Or there was like a lot that they could have done. And if these guys can make a good engine and they also just are paying attention to what's going on there's a lot that can be done there.
There are already certain areas where we are confident that our game doesn't just match, but also surpasses the 14-year-old wonder. And hell, it's about time. Examples of these areas are crowd surfing of single units.
By the way, man, remember when Taika says, hell, it's about time, and then he closes his helmet? Remember in the StarCraft 2 cutscene? He still has a cigar in his mouth. Go back and watch that scene. He closes imagine that the cigar just falls out of his mouth and it goes on his neck and his fucking helmet's closed and his marine hands are smacking his spacesuit.
Trying to go the opposite direction. Or getting units to move behind troops who are actively firing without actually affecting them. We also have the capacity to allow for full surrounds or let certain small units be a little bit more slippery.
That looks good.
Less binary outcomes, more possibilities for fun micro. We also count on the ability to block projectiles like in Dota or League.
Nice.
Terrain vision blocking to be used in certain parts of the campaign, and much more. We also plan on offering the ability to instantly scrub between various points during a replay, and near instant rejoining of a game in progress. So if you're playing with friends, you disconnect, you can instantly reconnect.
That's good that they have that.
And some level of prediction to make the game feel as snappy as it can be for the client. A lot of this already works, but it requires more polish.
We are the first to admit that
it's the same thing that we were saying, right? Like, the game needs polish. This is not going to be the final version of it.
Is an ambitious project. We're not looking to rehash previous strategy games, but instead to take the next step forward in the genre. We've assembled an amazing, capable team that we know is up to the task, but we need more time. The future of Zero Space is now in your hands. Thank you for considering our project, and if you believe in us and everything that we've shown you, consider supporting us and spreading the word.
Yeah, guys, check them out. It's under Kickstarter, Zero Space. I want to get my hands on this game. I'm putting this message out there. I would like to try the game. I will make another YouTube video if I get my hands on it. I have definitely more questions than answers, but honestly, this is really good news. The more RTSs, the better. I really want to see what this is gonna play like and feel like. I want to play in the alpha. And if this is good, I'd like to cast it, honestly. But let me know what you think in the comments. And do please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be making probably a decent amount more content with this game as it comes out, as well as Stormgate. I have played in the Stormgate Alpha, but I'm not allowed to talk about it right now. I'm NDA'd. So when it's time to talk about Stormgate, I will also be talking about that as well. But they've definitely got some competition, so this is really exciting. And who knows, man? I mean, there's, you know, I think David Kim's now at Riot Games, so there, I mean, unless he's making a non-RTS game, there's a chance there might be a third RTS game out there, and there's always the possibility there's stuff that we don't know about that's being made as well. So, I mean, we could end up in a new renaissance here for RTS. I mean, this is really exciting stuff. I'm optimistic. I'm excited. That's right, there's also Immortal Gates of Pyre, which I would like to play sometime coming up here as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.